Those numbers and those stories never gets easier, but it's part of why we have to keep saying them and hearing them to make sure that it doesn't get easier, to make sure that we don't get accustomed to it, to make sure that we don't go numb to it. So thank you for that. Our first speaker today is somewhat of a living legend, and I don't say that just to say it. Our first speaker is someone that has experienced the Nakba. He was born in 1933, and the stories he has are some of the most important ones here. And so could you please all welcome Al-Am Ghazi.
It's a high step for me. I have replaced knees. However, Assalamu alaikum. I just want to start to indicate we are celebrating or we are remembering the Nakba. The Nakba for me is the international crime has been perpetrated upon the Palestinian people. Of course, most of you know that on the second day of November 1917, about a month before the British troops captured Jerusalem from the Turks, Britain Foreign Secretary Arthur James Balfour wrote a letter to the leading British Jew, Lord Rothschild, a letter that gave the most shattering blow against the Palestinian people, in which the letter stated His Majesty's government view would favor the establishment in Palestine of a national home Jew. You remember the wording, Palestine. Palestine existed before the Jewish state being established in 1914, the 15th of May 1948. James, it's been clearly understood that nothing should be done which might prejudice the civil and religious rights of the existing non-Jewish population in Palestine. Now, in Lord Balfour's own views on the subject were revealed in a memorandum he wrote to the British cabinet on the 4th of August 1919. For the great powers, you remember that the four great powers are committed, unfortunately, to Zionism. And Zionism, be it right or wrong, good or bad, is rooted in age-long tradition, in present needs, in future hopes, or for profounder import than the desires and prejudices of the 700,000 Arabs who inhabit that ancient land in Palestine. And I'm one of them. I am the Palestinian in here. I am the person who have been the crime of the international decision been affected my life and millions of myself. Now this is my passport as Palestinian, and that's government of Palestine. This is my identity. This is Palestine. It is government of Palestine. That's my name in here, and that's my number as a British subject was in 1948, prior to 15th of May 1948. I'll share a very quick story with you and be a little bit fast because of the span of time. I born in 1933, but what affected my life is the 1948, that's the 9th of April, 1948. Fortunately, my mother and brothers arrived that night. We were feeling the intensity of the situation is taking place in Palestine. And we all slept in one room. And that was my mother's suggestion. We have had my 2 other brothers, my sister, and my dog, Jimmy. We were all together. Now, I was woken up early, that's Deir Yassin took place on the 9th of April 1948, which really chilled the bones of the Jerusalem people. You have heard, I'm not going to say much about it because it chilled the bones of the Palestinian of Jerusalem. The Arab population started to feel the intensity of the things. And this, I was about 14 years old, and I was still going to school. And I was hoping the next day to go to school. But my mother said, Angon boy, we will see what happens. Now, as things continued, after the catastrophe and the massacre of Deir Yassin, and the very sad story about this Deir Yassin village, we have had the night, I'll come back to the night, when my mother said we sleep in one room all together. It was early in the morning. I was waking up on the 10th of April, and on the 10th of April, the news came around about the horrible things which have happened in Deir Yassin. Now I come back again to later on in time, the morning that we were sleeping all together in one bed, that I was the first to wake up early in the morning on a smell of a gunpowder. And I went outside to the front veranda of our house. And what do I see? A man, an Arab man, with a small pistol and one handgun on his side. I asked him, where are the watch people? We used to have people watching the place. He said, oh, they came at night and picked them up and took them to Deir Sam'an. Deir Sam'an is a Christian monastery on the hill of the Katamon, which is about 500 meters or so away from our home. And I get frightened, and I went back to my mother. And she said, just be quiet, and we'll see you as the day go by. So we didn't have much of breakfast because we were very tense. We started wondering, my mother, what to do that almost late in April. After this the news, we were standing outside in the garden, and somebody came from nowhere with a Sten gun in his hand. He was an Arab, and he told us there is no show for the fighters, the Arab fighters. They are having no food, no ammunition, and they are retreating back. As quick as my mother heard this, she rushed home and picked up a few things And luckily, she managed to get us keep our identifications, and that passport is one of them. And we decided, or she decided, that we will all go for the night and stay the day with a family we know in old city of Jerusalem. And we stayed the night over there. And the next morning, as time went by, it came on the news that they have advanced to a place called Claridge Hotel. Now, Claridge Hotel, I will have time to explain. Jerusalem, the Arab quarters were barbed wire and zone, and you cannot get in or out of zones if you are out of the zone. And so we had to rush over outside of the barbed wire to catch a bus to go to the old city, and we stayed the night. And as we heard the next news, my mother's decision, she said, for your safety, kids, we'll take you to Beirut, Lebanon, for a couple of days, and we will come back. It was more than 2 days, 2 weeks, and 2 months, and now it's 77 years. So I'm one of those refugees. Well, some of them, we have lived what we used to call then as the United Nations morphine, which is the flour and sugar that they kept the Palestinian refugees on, sugar and rice flour. And that just, you stay in here and we will wait the decision of the United Nations. Thank you very much for listening.